Hi, this is Leah Myers from Myers Design Studio, and today we're going to be using the beautiful Lady Kenmore on our project. Today we're going to do the Confused Star Quilt, and we're just going to be making one block. That's all, and I'll show you how, and you can get this pretty quilt behind me just with this block. And let's get sewing. Okay, for this quilt we'll need 2 yards of dark fabric, 1 yard of light fabric, and 3/8 yard of binding fabric. And I'm going to do, sorry about the I'm going to do a bonus video after this one, and I'm actually going to put a border on this. Now, I don't need a wall hanging. I need like a little bigger quilt than this, and I'm not going to make any more blocks, but you can add more blocks if you want a larger quilt, like just double this if you want a bigger quilt. So instead of 2 yards of dark fabric, you get 4. Instead of 1 yard of light fabric, you get 2. And 3/8 yard, that would be 6. I can't do math in my head that fast, but I would say 1.25 yards maybe of binding. I mean, I can't do math in my head that fast. So that's just how I'm built. But anyway, instead of doing more blocks, I'm going to go ahead and do a border in the video following this one, if you want to see what I do with the border. But as it is right now, it's a 2-color quilt, right? And because I've run out of this fabric, this pretty, it's like a purple, blueberry, swirly, pink kind of fabric. That's the colors. I've run out of that. So I'm gonna, you know, change it up, put a nice border. I'm gonna show you how I choose it, and what the process in doing that for me is, because some people have problems with, okay, I have this quilt, what do I use for borders? And you have this problem that you ran out of fabric, right? So instead of shopping for more fabric, you probably, if you're a big collector of fabric like I am, you probably already have it. So anyway, that is what we're going to do in the video following this. You can watch that, how I border this quilt. That's exactly what I'm going to do in the next one. Anyway, so PC is just a 6.5 by 3.5 inch rectangle. That is all it is. And I cut 11 strips. I cut 11 strips of 3.5 inch fabric, the width of the fabric, and I subcut them in, and I got how many pieces? I got 6 pieces per strip, okay, out of that. And this is done. This piece you don't have to do anything else with. You just set these aside, just like it says in my instructions. Now I had one left, so I'm just going to cut a companion piece to this, because I'm going to show you how I cut out the little triangles, which is real simple. And I kind of rough cut those, and I'll show you how I do it, because I like to make things a little simpler, you know. And I'm just going to rough cut this. This is a 3.5 by with the fabric strip of pink. But now, okay, so this is going to be for the triangles. I mean, yes, for these little quarter square triangles. So I'm going to set this aside too, just for now, because I got to sew that. And this is all I had left out of 2 yards. That's it. That's all I had left. And so I'm going to cut a 2-inch strip of this fabric, and hopefully, I don't think I left I think I brought my big ruler upstairs. That's fine. Let's just pretend we're on a trip, right? So I'm going to fold this in quarters, make sure it's perfectly flat down here. I'm going to fold this in quarters, and I have my little 2.5 inch by 12 inch ruler, and that will go across that just fine. So if you're traveling and you don't want to bring really big rollers, I've said this in my previous videos. This is my very favorite roller. It will fit in my bag. I don't have to worry about it getting broken because it's not that large. And I'll use like a companion roller too. Like I'll bring a little one like this, or maybe just a little bit bigger. And then I just put them in my bag and I go, because I can fold this fabric in fourths, 4 times, and I can get a straight cut. And I'll be able to use the roller because all I need is 2 inches. So let me make a cut to get a straight edge. And I kind of like to stand for this a little bit, just so I could see. Yeah, I stand when I don't sit all the time when I'm sewing. So I'm going to stand, I'm going to cut this in 2-inch strip, 2-inch strip. So now I'm going to flip it around. I was going to say turn and flip at the same time. I don't know why. And all I need is a 2-inch strip. But I'm not going to need the whole thing because I'm just going to demonstrate. So when you make this set, this is piece B, right? I needed 7 strips of the light and the dark, both 7 of the light, 7 of the dark. I needed 7 of them because at first I wrote in 6 strips, but then at the very end I ran out. So you don't need the whole piece of the 7th one, but you do just need a little bit. So I just kind of had a tiny bit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I don't need this whole thing. I'm just gonna demonstrate this part. I need a 2-inch strip, not a 3.5. So I'm gonna cut that down. Roughly have this the same size, right? I'm gonna cut off the salt. You don't need to, but I will anyway. I need 2 2-inch strips for this. And so when I do this in real life, I'll just sew the whole length of both of these strips together, the 2-inch strips, the whole length. Because I'm trying to make this faster. Like you have 2 blocks already sewn together, and all you have to do is turn one around, and I'll show you that. It is super easy. And now I need just a 2-inch strip of this, and this was left over too, but because I cut it, it's not written in the pattern. This pink strip that I have here, but as far as the number. Okay, so now I'm just gonna sew just one side of the 2-inch. You get used to saying 2.5 a lot because of the jelly rolls. But anyway, I'm just gonna, I just put that up. I'm not gonna pin it. All right, so I'm gonna sew this on one side, and the 3.5 strip I'm gonna sew on both sides. Now just pretend this is with the fabric. I'm not gonna cut a whole other piece for this. And then now I'm going to I'm gonna make a new leader. Let's make a new leader out of this stuff I just stuck in my trash. Okay, and if you don't know what a leader is, it's a little piece of fabric that you just I fold them in half, and then I run them through the machine first to get everything going. Bring your bottom thread up. If it wants, oh, come on. Bottom thread, yes, okay, here we are. Haha, gotcha. I'm gonna cut that a little bit. Perfect. And now I'm just gonna sew the 2-inch strip on one side. Put the leader in first. Yep. And you also can see with the leader is if your machine is, let me turn this around, turn my pedal around. If your machine's sewing well, then you can check that, right? Come on, girl. Come on, girl. There we go. There we go. Let me just check the stitches real quick. Perfect. Okay. We're fine. And now you just feed in. This is the 2-inch strip. And all I want to do is sew one side of this one. And this foot, and I'm using the Lady Kenmore. She's a beauty. She was bought in 1960 by Ernest in Pennsylvania. And Ernest in Pennsylvania. I know his last name. I even know the salesman's name. I had a little certificate that I got with this machine. And on that certificate, it gives a guarantee. A guarantee. How many people out there remember what a guarantee is? Well, I'll tell you. They guaranteed this machine for 30 years. 30 years. They guaranteed that this machine would work for 30 years. So it's 1960. That's when it was bought, right? I'm going to take this off. I'm going to sew the other side of this one because I'll show you a trick in a minute. So I think she's past the 30-year guarantee. I think she's made it plus, right? So I would have to defer to my sister where this, I don't know where this machine was made, maybe, but we'll do a long video later. We're going to do a long video on all the information on this machine. And she does those videos for me. Okay, so now so when you use leaders, so as soon as you get that off, if you're using a leader, what you do before you even take these off, I've already taken them off. You just you clip it off and then you sew it back in. And that's how, if you get in a rhythm of using a leader, that's how you use them. Anyway, so now I have these guys ready to go. And we'll go ahead and I'll iron this one open and I'll show you what I do next. Okay, so now I'm going to iron this to the dark side, right? Iron that to the dark side. In this case, it's the purple, right? And now I'm going to subcut these to be 2 inches. Right? So I've just made a straight edge. Now I'm going to flip it and cut. In this case, I'm just doing one block, so I'm going to cut just 2 pieces. And hopefully, and I just need 2. And when I was doing a lot of them, I would lay one on top of the other. Strip, I did 2 at a time. I can cut kind of safely 2 pieces at a time and it will come out 2 layers at a time when they're pieced like this. And I have no problem. So now I have what is it called? Piece B. This is B, the set. And then now they're ready to nest together and sew. So I've got that all ready to go. And I'm going to put a little pin in the middle just because it's my habit to do so. I don't always pin, but I do for that. So now I have this guy. And I have close-up pictures of what I'm doing here. And I'll show them up there. I am going to take this little... what I did is I cut out the template that I have in my pattern, and then I put a piece of plastic, which was template plastic, You can use any kind of plastic that's see-through. You can recycle something that, you can use to put over this. As long as you can see the lines, it's helpful. And all I did was I put not the long side, not this part, but the short sides. One up like this, and then one, down like that on the bottom. And I have close-up pictures of how I do it. All right. So I'm going to just get a straight edge right here at the very end. And I follow the stitches when I put my ruler down. Yep, I just follow my stitches. Cut off that. And I have a little piece of tape right here. It's been used a lot, but it will hold enough to stay in place. It'll be sticky at first, and then you can replace it. I just put a little loop of tape. And this ruler has a little 45-degree angle right here, so I'm going to use that. And I'm going to, it's about 1/8 of an inch away from the template, not right on the template, but about 1/8 of an inch away. And I'm building into this process a little bit extra. Like if my stitching isn't quite perfect, I'll have a big enough triangle to square up and it will be perfect. So I don't make a mistake in my, making it. So I cut that, set that aside. Now my piece looks like this, right? So I'm going to remember the short sides, I'm going to put my little template down like that. And now I'll show you that picture. And now I'm going to just put it down like this on that piece. It may not be straight, but that's how I'm doing it. And I just rock it back and forth all the time. And the 3.5 inches. And I keep the edge. I'm about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. And then I just cut as close or just a little bit away from the edges. I don't want to cut my template. That's what I'm trying not to do. But I'm using it as a guide so that I have enough room. And I'll just cut it straight. Boom. And there's my other triangle. Now all I do is I iron these to the dark side. Right? Iron them to the dark side. Now this is kind of on a bias. I am not afraid of bias in my quilting. As you work with, this is a woven fabric, so as you work with fabric like this, bias is not scary. It's really not. But there is a method to always have the straight of grain or without the bias to make triangles. But this isn't one of them. But I square it up at the end, so if it stretches a little, whatever. And now I sandwich those together like that, and they're all opposite colors. And because I iron to the dark, they're all going to be, it's going to nest just fine. And now I just stitch this up. Not with, I had a needle in my thing. I can't, okay. So I just pin it in the middle to keep it. I don't pin the edges. I just sort of, with the edges, I just kind of put them in place before I start sewing. So I'm going to sew this block B, the little squares. Helps put it on the feed dogs probably. All right, I'm just sewing a little careful. Just being careful. Okay. And with this, you are going to feed it into the machine. Just be gentle and make sure that straight edge is at the 1/4 of an inch, right? And in this case, it's at the edge of the foot because this foot is exactly a 1/4 of an inch. And sewing a point is a little different than just, straight sewing, but my problem at the at the end, when I'm doing a triangle like this, it really isn't beginning the triangle. It's at the end. And so I kind of have a pen or a stylus. Keep your fingers out of the needle. Don't sew your hands. That would be a bad day. And I have a problem that my corner wants to move out this way for some reason. Or one of the fabrics it wants to go to the right a little bit. I don't know why, but I always have problems. So, all right, so I'm going to demonstrate the leader again. And then sew the leader on. Boom, boom. And you're ready for the next one. I'm getting used to that process. And now, okay, so that's perfect. Boom. Perfect. And that should be perfect. I'm pretty good at the squares. And I just iron this to one side. That's it. And it looks like I might have to square this one up a little bit. I'm not real sure though. We'll see. All right. So, yeah, that's perfect. This is pretty. Okay, I'm kind of scrubbing. You're not supposed to scrub when you're... All right, so now I actually have enough to make another block out of this. But I'm not right now, so... And here we are. We got piece C. Be very clear. And we have piece A all done. I'm going to check to see if this is square real quick. And it's supposed to measure 3.5. And it does. This really looks good. I don't know why it didn't before, but for some reason. But I know this is oversized because I cut just a little bit away from the template. And if you cut further away from the template, you'll need more fabric in your material. So this is what I'm using. It is called a Tucker Trimmer 1, and I love this. And it also has a little diagram of what block this will square up. And I square up quarter square triangles with this. I also square up half square triangles with this. I find it's real easy. It does only have whole and half sizes though on this Tucker Trimmer 1. It's from Studio 180. If you have just a regular ruler, you just have to figure out where that center point is, what measurement that will be, and then you can use regular ruler. But when I do a bunch, I use this tool a lot. I use this one, and I think the other one is called Squared Up. All right, and this tool has the lines going this way and the lines going that way. And I'm going to square this up to 3.5 because it's like an eighth of an inch off a little bit. But I like this because I will have a perfectly square piece now. Okay. And now I put it on the 3.5 inch mark, and I'm going to square the other two sides right there. Yeah, 30-year guarantee. What? Is there anything out there that has a 30-year guarantee anymore? I don't know. All right, so now I'm going to put this block together this way. I'm using the light. The light is going to be on the left side, and the dark is on the other side. Now, there is a really cool thing. If you put it together this way, you get a completely different look from this quilt. And if you stay at the end, I'll show you that look. It is really clever. But I'm going to put all of my blocks, well, that's what I've done over here. I put all my blocks on this, like this, on the left side. Put the light on the left side, not on the right side. And I tend to just put the triangle piece on the top. And I will just pin this in half just to hold on to it. Because when I'm doing these while I'm making the quilt, I will put these in a big stack, and I'll have the pins facing where I'm supposed to sew. And I literally, when I was making this quilt, would have all the pieces in a row, and all I did was just sew, 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 and then I cut, cut them apart, iron, 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 and it was just so simple because it's just one block. That's all we're making is just one block. So it's just really easy. All right, continue through that leader. So I don't want to sew my leader to the piece. No, that'd be bad. All right. Okay. She's so smooth. Sounds so smooth. All right. So before I take this off, I'm gonna, take my leader off. Okay. And sew it back in. Now take my piece off. And what's neat is that you don't have any threads to cut off. It's automatic. Well, it's not automatic. You're cutting it yourself. All right. And then I ironed it towards the triangle like that. You can't iron it the other way. But I did them. I don't know why. I did it all towards a triangle. You can iron it which way you'd like. Okay, and now we're going to put these pieces together. Now check your diagram or your quilt and put this on the right side. I've done it twice. I sewed it on the wrong side. Just 2 times, which is probably good for me, like a good record for me. So that PC goes here and these guys go on the other side. And I do pin it in the middle a little bit. Pin it in the middle. Or actually, I do 3 pins. 2 on the ends, 1 on the ends, and then 1 in the middle, right? You could iron this open. Let me iron that open, see how. Let's see. I don't usually do that, but I think I really want to for right now. I don't know why. I didn't while I was making that quilt behind me, but let's just check that out, see how that works. If it's going to lay flatter, it probably will. All right. I have a problem with ironing open. I don't know why I was stuck on that. I have a problem with ironing open because it's such a tiny little thing. It's tiny. When I'm ironing open and I'm making a garment like a shirt or whatever, it's a lot easier because that seam allowance is usually like 5/8 inch or bigger, half inch, not a quarter. Quarter inch is kind of hard. And there we go. Okay. Now, yes, getting used to this later thing. This machine's really nice. I don't really have to use this meter, but I'm in a, like, you get into new habits of doing something, and I'm trying something new here. Okay, so now I'm just ironing this block to the purple that way, ironing it that way. And now that's the block, and that's all it is. It's this block all the way across. And let's see, probably right here. I'll show you. So here's the, let me go over here. So here's the block, and then I turned it like that. And then on the top, I have it like this. And on the other side, it's like that. So it's 4 of them together. And in some rows, like the 2nd and 4th row, you have half a block on the bottom and half a block on the top, so that you get So you get a kind of a look this way. You know, you have a design going this way, and then you have a design going this way. And these little squares, start making like a little chain. So it kind of looks like it's not swirling, but like an S pattern. And if you focus on, and what I really like about two color quilts is that you can focus on the pink here, and you see a pink pinwheel. Then you can focus on the purple, and then you see a purple pinwheel, and you can let your eye go back and forth. And then you can also see these blocks as like little hourglass blocks. And then you can see the purple, and then you can see the pink. So your eye can like pick out different patterns each time because it's so geometric and it has two colors. That's kind of a neat little trick. All right, so I told you I was going to tell you how you get a completely different look if you switch the colors. Now I have the light color on the left and I don't have it on the right, but if you put it on the right side next to this light triangle, you will get a completely different look. And this is what you get. You get a line going down and kind of diagonally down like this instead of down like this. And all you do is you switch the colors. The light would be here and then the dark would be there, and that's all you do. And you get it going down like this. So isn't that cool? And it's the same block. Anyway, thank you for watching. I appreciate you guys being here. The next video, I'm going to put a border on. So if you want to watch that, that's what I'm going to do next. All right. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.